What's going on, everyone? In today's video, we're going to cover some awesome setups for tomorrow and looking at the market for today. We are just under the weekly high and we're a couple dollars away on SPY from 52-week highs. It's kind of crazy to say, but the market has been on fire over the past couple weeks and months, and we have some exciting plays for tomorrow and big news to talk about. So make sure to stick with us all the way towards the end. Towards the end of the video, we have a treat for you guys, which is a $1.7 million trade on a mining stock that you won't want to miss. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, we had a few stocks pop up like Chewy with their earnings from yesterday. They ended up doing very, very well. We saw some good movement out of some uranium stocks, and we even saw Nvidia continue back to the upside today. So overall, I would say it was a pretty good day in the stock market. We had a pretty good moves back to the upside out of major tech stocks and ended up being a pretty good day overall for us here. I will say, though, it dampened the mood to the downside. I was really hoping for some big breaks of some of these supports on Nvidia back down, but we never really got below there. We just ended up holding and moving right back to the upside. Now we're right at the top of this channel again, right at $400 even here on Nvidia. I know a lot of people have been watching this one over the past few weeks, Mike, and it's very interesting to see it consolidating right at the top here. Now, tomorrow morning, we might actually get a pretty good move out of the SPY. We're running up to that weekly high here right around 423, and we actually have some good information to go over for the morning. 1 hour before the market opens, we have the unemployment rate and the non-farm payroll numbers coming out for May. That's going to be pretty big for the overall market. Obviously, it's talking about jobs, unemployment rates, and etc. That's huge. The Feds pay attention to that in a major, major way. So really watch the markets tomorrow. So this big resistance overhead is going to be crucial to break. But if we keep rejecting, it might even be good for puts back down as well.
Exactly, and that resistance right around 423 on SPY is pretty giant. Like I said a couple minutes ago, it's that weekly high, and the last time we got to this level a couple days ago, it didn't really end too well. But when you go for like a double top pattern that we're in right now, it is not it's not rare to see breakouts. So keep a close eye on that. But Tom, I also know we had some pretty interesting news on the earnings side of things for today. What do we have on the schedule?
Yeah, so we actually saw Lulu, Broadcom, ChargePoint, all these stocks were reporting tonight. One of the ones that I saw that did very, very well was actually Lululemon. I cannot believe it, Mike, but they are exploding up in after hours. Now, Lulu has been taking a big, and I mean huge hit recently, but looking at them right now, looks like they actually beat on the top and bottom line, which is fantastic. And whenever you do that as a company, you generally move up. Like it says here, 10% plus in extended trading. The EPS came in above expectations there, and the revenue was $2 billion versus $1.93 billion expected. So good to see that. Sales rose 24%. And what's interesting, Mike, is that these stocks like Lulu, it's nuts. Like you go into Lululemon's, like if you go to the mall or something like that, I don't know about you guys, but every time I go, there is lines just extending throughout the mall just to get into this store. I mean, it's one of the most popular stores out right now.
Oh, no doubt about that. And you got to love it when you see 24% sales growth and increased guidance. So that's awesome to see there. The stock is booming, like you said. So make sure to keep that one close on watch for tomorrow for a potential earnings continuation play. And on a different side of things, Tom, I was looking at Apple stock today as they actually had some pretty interesting news related to some of their headsets. So fill us in.
Yeah, so actually Apple really broke a recent high here. They had like a quadruple top going on from yesterday, right around 179.30. And today we broke that with some velocity, and end of day, even in after hours here, ran up above $180. Now, Mike, $180 is no joke. If we look at this on the book map, man, Apple had a ton of bounces there today. You can see how there was all these big volume dot hits right at that 180 level as we tried to break that big stack of 500,000 plus shares short there. And it was really good to see us finally get above there end of day and hold up. If this holds up into tomorrow, Mike, we are probably going to explode, especially given the news that they are coming out with, they're actually looking to announce their first new headset. So it looks like they're going to be having a virtual reality headset that will actually be competitive with Meta's Quest headset line. And talking about Meta, they actually released a headset today as well. So that's very funny. Meta is trying to like undercut Apple, release it a couple days right before they do. But nonetheless, Apple's really moving up from this news, Mike. And man, I really think that they could go. What's really cool about this headset to me is that if we look at it very closely, there's a camera on the outside. So something that you can do with this is you can actually have what they're actually calling it like pass through. And what you can do is it actually allows you to see the real world through your headset and maybe have certain things on there. So something I would think of is maybe like a sports game. You look at the field, you see some stats or something like that. Or if you're like walking down the road, you could maybe even have some stock charts pulled up or something. I mean, it's pretty wild the ideas that you could come up with for something like this.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this technology develops over time. Like some of these like first versions are pretty cool, and I know Meta has had their headsets for a while now, and they're getting more and more advanced, but in the same way that we've seen artificial intelligence progress so much over like the past couple years and the past decade, I'm very excited to see how these virtual reality headsets progress, over the next couple years and the next decade, because I bet they'll get a whole lot smaller and a whole lot more advanced.
Yeah, exactly. And we've even seen a lot of people coming out and talking about trying to make it down to like the size of a pair of glasses. Now, if that could get done, we are talking about creating like an augmented reality type of world out there. So there's a lot of potential for this in the future. Right now, it's still kind of in those starting stages, but it seems like it's really gaining traction, Mike, especially for such a big company and such a powerhouse like Apple to get into the market. It definitely shows that there has to be some potential.
No doubt. And as we talk about the good with, the market blasting higher and Apple showing some good upside movement, we also have to talk about the bad, and that is with Target. Target is basically having its worst downtrend in like the past 20 years on like a day-by-day basis, as a lot of people are calling for boycotts on this company. So, Tom, fill us in on the news. I know Target is receiving a lot of backlash right now, and investors are selling this news pretty hard.
Yeah, they really are. And JP Morgan even downgraded their stock from overweight to neutral, citing the possibility of a decline in sales due to consumers pulling back spending amid persistent inflation. But I think JP Morgan was a little bit nice in their wording here, Mike. I think JP Morgan knows what's really going on here. So as we know, there's been a lot of backlash against these companies like Bud Light, Budweiser, companies like that, or a Bud Light, Target, I should say, companies that are going more towards like the wokeness, you could say. Disney's another one. A lot of people keep saying, go woke, go broke. And I know that a lot of people are, against this. Obviously, some people are for it. But, Target's done a lot of stuff. They even had female style swimsuits with the option to tuck male genitalia. I don't know, Mike. It seems like Target stock is getting tucked right now. That's all I have to say.
True that. I mean, it's getting blasted, and it's like, they're tanking off big time. And I think that the market is starting to really respond to some of these political actions, not only from Target, but other companies. I mean, look at ticker symbol BUD. That stock started selling off in a major way with all their controversy. And at the same time, like if you look at like TAP, which is Coors, they've actually been holding up a lot better. So it's worth noting, and especially when you see like a drop of this magnitude, it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, look at that stock on the daily chart. So many stocks recently have been holding these lower supports, and poor Target here is breaking down to new lows of the past couple of years. So definitely a big thing to watch, and keep your eyes on some of these other stocks like Disney as well. I noticed they've been down around support, also having some problems with issues like this.
No doubt. All right, Tom. Well, it's now time for some setups for tomorrow. One stock I'm watching very, very closely is CCJ. So this is a uranium company, and they just had an amazing day today. They have some resistance right around $31.30 a share, and right now they're lingering right around $30.50 a share. They have a lot of upside potential. I love this stock for the long term. I plan to hold this stock for a very long time, but even for the short term, they actually have a lot of good momentum and a lot of good price action. So I actually even like this one to the upside for the short term.
I'll be honest, Mike, I'm pissed I didn't listen to you whenever you said you had a nice support down here around that $21 area. Man, that would have been an awesome buy down there. I even wrote it down because I was like, man, that's looking great down there as it's starting to bounce up. And man, we are really getting high. I mean, talk about a big breakout. It's about to go to new all-time highs here. So I love it, Mike. Keep your eyes on CCJ. I mean, those uranium stocks were absolutely insane today. That intraday chart is something else. And I could not go, though, without mentioning Apple here. Now, I know we talked about it already. They have the big headset going on with the news with that. That conference is going to be on Monday. So keep that in mind, as we go forward. That headset news is going to be big for Apple. So I think that this could maybe be a good play to get some momentum off that news, obviously, and capitalize on this breakout. Looking at the book map, the fact that we broke that 180 resistance today is awesome. If we can go into tomorrow, hold up above 180, and we see more momentum, definitely keep it on the radar. It's one of those stocks that just doesn't slow down lately.
There we go. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is BABA, B-A-B-A. These Chinese stocks have some good movement every now and then, and today was definitely one of those days. I do like to look at BABA because it kind of does whatever it wants, and it doesn't really care too much what the S&P 500 does. So either way, it had an amazing day today, and I'm going to keep a close eye on it for a potential continuation to the upside tomorrow.
Yeah, I really like this. And looking at it in the longer term, it's bouncing off good support. It's back above $80, which is nice. And yeah, that move back up today was great. Definitely watch these China stocks. I think that they could come back in a pretty big way. I know that the banks have been pretty brutal lately, but I'm actually watching Citigroup back up, Mike. I noticed in the short term, there's been some decent support coming in right around this $44 area. If we continue to hold here, maybe break that high of day today for tomorrow, I will watch it for some calls. I know that these bank stocks are very, very low right now, some of them, and Citigroup's right around support. So I'll be keeping an eye on this one for a potential bounce back up if this momentum continues.
Sounds great. Well, Tom, you know what time it is. It's time for those momentum plays. With the first one, we have Upwork to the upside.
Yeah, UPWK, great day for them, up 3.78%, make them break out above $8.70, just above that high of day.
All right, with the next one, we have Zoom, also to the upside.
ZM, I really like this one, Mike. It's actually right at this recent resistance from this week, and it broke above it slightly end of day. So if they can break above 69, watch for a move up to 70. That could be a pretty good 1-point scalp there. I think that'd be pretty safe too.
All right, and now with the last one, we have Disney, and we need both directions.
Yeah, so DIS, pretty brutal lately, but there is a decent support down here around 87 to 88. So if we fall under $88, watch for puts to the downside, but I'm kind of leaning up tomorrow. They had a decent close. If they get above this $89, $10 resistance, then go ahead and watch for some calls.
All right, well, you guys heard Tom. We have that upside level on Disney. If it breaks above that level, we're watching it for calls. We also have that downside level, so if it breaks below that, we're watching it for puts. And then don't forget about Zoom and Upwork, both of which have potential upside levels and plays. But with that being said, it is now time for the big money $1.7 million trade of the day, and we are looking at none other than Rio. So basically someone dumped $1.7 million into the Rio 60 strike call options that expire on July 21st of 2023. For those of you who don't know how options work, this is essentially a bet that this stock will go pretty high in the future. The higher it goes, the more millions they will make. These are the 60 strike call options, so they're in the money. So basically, it's a pretty bullish trade. And this is a mining company. It's pretty, I guess you could say it has taken a decent hit this year. It had highs close to 80, and now it's lingering right around $61 a share, and it's bouncing off that $60 support, so it's not looking bad.
Yeah, I kind of like that support bounce. That's pretty good. And it's been very low here, pretty much moving straight down ever since January 26th of this year. Ever since that high there, it's never really gotten any good momentum back. So I definitely like it. I feel like in the short term, it could see a decent pop fairly safely, maybe to retest this $64 resistance. That's a pretty big area there where we had some hits in the past few months as well. So I like this one for a trade back up maybe to the top of that channel. 64 might be a pretty good target here, especially if you're trying to trade this in the short term.
Perfect. So, Tom, going into tomorrow, we are just under weekly highs for the market. We have mostly bullish momentum. Do you have any closing thoughts before we end the video?
Yeah, it just never stops, Mike. I was really watching for some of those pullbacks today. They never came early in the morning. We just started ripping right back up. Now we're right back to some of these big resistance levels. Even Nvidia, right around $400. Apple's just about breaking 180 here, holding up. So we're seeing some great movement. Let's hope it keeps up. And, some of these day trades will start to really pay off here soon.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see our videos recommended to you more often. And last but not least, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, and that is Mo in the StockedUp Discord. You've been in the chat for almost 3 years now, and you always ask great questions. So huge shout out to you, and make sure to keep it up. If you guys are looking to get some X-ray vision for the stock market, check out our partner Bookmap. They are basically the host of these really cool charts where you can see exactly where buyers and sellers are lined up in the market. It's very, very cool, and it's really something you don't really see anywhere else. So definitely check it out. It's going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. But besides that, let's have an amazing end to the week.